Are we live? Sorry, running a bit late there. I just had to quickly go and grab a coffee, a little espresso before we kick off this live stream. Thank you for joining me. I really appreciate you stopping on LinkedIn and just grabbing this quick insight for 5 minutes. Should you script your videos or should you do them unscripted? This is a problem we encounter a lot with our clients. And it's something I really wanted to cover in today's show. So welcome and thank you for stopping in. Companies are producing massive amounts of video content right now, and it's a dilemma. Should we script it? Also, before we start, I should also mention my name's Daniel, and I'm the CEO of SmoothViews. We're based here in Stockholm, and we produce video and live streams for businesses mainly. And we have a particular set of skills. You know what film that's from? We have a philosophy, which I'm going to run through today. It kind of overlaps quite nicely with this subject, scripted or unscripted. So there's definitely a time and a place for scripted. That's not going away. If you're doing a product video, a snazzy product video here like we do for Logitech, there's too many features involved in the products to do it off the top of the head. You've got to script it and read it off a teleprompter if you want to capture all those important elements of a complicated product like a keyboard or a laptop. So definitely a place for scripted. However, in today's world of content, what resonates with people is authenticity. And I don't know if you noticed, but all those people online, all those stars that we follow on YouTube, pretty much most of them have a kind of vlog style to their content. And that resonates with people because it's honest and transparent. So our brains have been kind of cognitively rewired, I think, over the last 5 years, 10 years even, to sort of engage with this sort of different type of content. So which is why when you see, a traditional BMW advert, for example, the drive of your life, and they're driving through the mountains of Monaco, it kind of feels 1990s and doesn't really resonate. It doesn't kind of make you want to take action, and it looks very expensive. So maybe that kind of budget would be better spent elsewhere. I think authenticity is important, and there's a particular way of doing that. Obviously, reading off scripts like newsreaders do. You see them reading a script, and they're very good at kind of hiding it, but you'd still know that they're reading a script, and even a script that someone else has written. So even those newsreaders are losing their kind of impact because there's independent podcasters, for example, talking for 2 or 3 hours in a very open and authentic way, and that's really what this is all about. Scripting versus unscripted is basically fake or authentic. That's really the kind of question at hand. So I wanted to give you a few tips and tricks in this short video, this short live stream, as to like how you should approach your corporate videos in the future, and maybe think about these things. Why do we need to, we have a hashtag actually that we use, and it's Fook Scripts, if you catch my drift. It's kind of, we should move away from these kind of fake videos and focus on producing content that is real and authentic. And one way of doing this is actually you record a video podcast with 2 or 3 cameras in a professional setting. And, it's critical to do that in context. So you record the podcast in the location of the subject matter. So I'll cut to a video we have now of us filming in a gym for a popular audio brand who have a particular line of products that are perfect for working out. So here we filmed a video podcast with a real customer and some product specialists from the company. And they'd worked out 50 minutes before this and tried the products, and we recorded that B-roll. And then we blended it together nicely with the conversation. So we ended up with a sort of 2 minutes of gold in the conversation, a sort of 30-40 minute conversation. And we made a really slick marketing video that was transparent and authentic. And the real kicker is that it was not, it didn't blow the budget for the client, because scripting is expensive. You need to spend weeks building a script. It has to be delivered in this like short space of time. It has to be practiced. Someone has to take the day off and practice the script, or actors have to be hired, which is a good point, actually, a segue into the next point, which is, if you want your own team to be involved in this content, it's very difficult for someone who's not a professional to read a script into a teleprompter and it not look scripted. It's very difficult. You need hundreds of hours to be able to achieve that and make it look real. So it's more inclusive if you kind of record in this conversational style. So my big tip is record a video podcast about the subject matter with a very clear purpose. Who is the video for? Who is the content for? And it should be answering a question that's very specific to that audience. Think of it. One tip I give my customers is say, like, work back. So imagine the headline on your YouTube clip. What is that, click title doing? What are we going to write? And then work back from there. What does the content need to be to sync up with that question you're answering? That's a really nice tip, to work backward in the production rather than work forwards. And as I mentioned, scripting is very expensive. So if you record a video podcast format, you are doing it in a more conversational element. So, you don't have to spend many hours preparing. So, that's an important part of it. I also mentioned the training. And my other tip is, the content you're making should always do one or two things, or both: educate or entertain. Very few people can do both. Those that do tend to blow up and become very famous. But something we can all do is educate. If you've been in your space for, 2-3+ years, you've developed a degree of specialization, and that makes you an expert. Don't shy away from that fact. You've done the miles. And why not start to think about framing your experience into an educational format? So kind of what I'm doing now, we've done hundreds of productions with and without teleprompters and scripts. And, I'm just kind of trying to, get my content out, but in an authentic way. This is unscripted. I have some notes here to help me remember everything and keep a kind of guide. But I'm doing this off the top of the dome for the most part. So yeah, practicing what I preach. That's kind of like getting close to the end, really. I've got a few more tips here that I forget. There's always something. So that example, maybe, Andreas, you could roll that example again quickly from the gym. Yeah. So, filming this kind of B-roll with the audio. You can't hear the audio right now, but they're talking about the features of the product. And then we line those up with the B-roll. And the beauty of that is we actually, in this case, we didn't do it, but in most cases, we record the conversation first, because once we've extracted the gold from the conversation, we then create a shot list from that, which is another time saver, removes all the guesswork. People have different ideas if they're producing content over what should and shouldn't be in the shot list. But the content gives us the shot list. We listen through to the video podcast and we know, okay, we need to show that. We need to show that. If they mentioned that, yeah, I can use these headphones whilst lifting, heavy weights, they don't drop out, then, okay, we need to show someone doing something where the headphones stay in place. So another great tip is, to film the video podcast first and then create a shot list from that and then go and film it. Even on the same day, we do that quite often. That, again, keeps the budget down for our partners. My final thought is, this is a good way of doing case studies. I recommend people stop sending out text-based case studies, as you still see those going around on email and on LinkedIn. And now what we need to do is produce these kind of 2-3 minute video case studies, much like the one you just saw there. And it doesn't need to blow the budget. So, let's stop sending out text-based case studies. Give people a 2-3 minute watered down version of a great conversation with some great B-roll, and boom, you have a dream case study. So yeah, that's it. Signing off. My name's Daniel. As I mentioned, we're SmoothViews, based here in Stockholm, covering the Nordics, video and live productions. If you have any questions, just hit me up in the notes below, or this will be on LinkedIn, so you can just click through and hit me up on my profile. So have a wow day. And hope to see you on the next one. Thank you.